Ladies and gentlemen, you have right now, this is, the biggest story on CNN. Mitch McConnell admits to coordinating with Trump's lawyers on impeachment strategy. Yeah, in fact, he's directly coordinating with the White House. Absolutely. Why not? What's the problem? He's directly coordinating with Trump's legal team. It is direct coordination. You want to know why? Because the Republicans know that the Democrats have zero evidence Trump committed a crime. There was no break-in. Watergate was a break-in and a cover-up of a break-in. That's why they would have impeached and removed Nixon. Bill Clinton was impeached because he lied under oath and he obstructed justice. The fact that he engaged in the activity within the Oval Office is not why he was impeached. The act of lying under oath is a criminal act. Okay. Trump did not commit a crime. This was a phone conversation where there is no statement of quid pro quo in the phone in the phone records. Nothing. They're looking at an ellipsis. They're looking at the word though. You can't convict somebody on the word though or punctuation. Furthermore, President Zelensky himself states there was no quid pro quo. President Zelensky, the Ukrainian leader, states there was no quid pro quo. All right. The basis for this is that he strong-armed Trump, leveraged and pressured the leader of the Ukraine. He didn't. President Zelensky states there was no pressure, number one. The premise behind the impeachment is predicated upon the notion that there was never a reason for President Trump to look into Democrats reaching out to the Ukraine, or there's no reason at all to investigate the dealings of the vice president and his son. Mitch McConnell and almost all the Republicans, Trump supporters, very likely most independents, a lot of people on the left who can see this objectively reject that notion completely and entirely, oppose that viewpoint. Trump had every right to ask anyone he wanted to look into potential wrongdoing of anyone he wanted to. That's number one. You have the vice president on video saying that he wants the Ukraine to fire a prosecutor that happened to be looking into corruption of a company, a corporation that was paying his son a total of millions upon millions of dollars by one estimate. That is a conflict of interest, so much so that one of the impeachment witnesses, Marie Yovanovitch, stated that she was given talking points by President Obama's administration regarding Hunter's conflicts of interest. Her response was to say, "Oh, well, we'll give it to the vice president's office. We'll refer the answer to the vice president's office," which is hilarious. That only bolsters the notion that there were conflicts of interest. So you had an impeachment. So you have President Zelensky, no problem at all. No leverage. You have an impeachment witness stating, "Oh yes, President Obama's administration knew of the conflicts of interest." So that bolsters President Trump's suspicions. Then you have President Trump saying, "Look, we didn't withhold any money because we were so afraid of Biden's no malarkey tour. We withheld money to make sure that a country said to be corrupt or said to have corrupt officials didn't get all of this money initially without making sure they would be received without corrupt officials taking some of the money, whatever." Democrats say, "No way, we don't believe you." And then Democrats say, "Well, of course Biden had to fire the prosecutor Shokin. He wasn't investigating enough corruption." So they say two things. Their defense for Biden is actually Trump's defense, which they don't believe. They don't believe that Trump would be worried about corruption, but they do believe that Biden would be worried about corruption in that country. So that's another absurd element to all of this, okay, which is completely absurd. So then there's the intelligence operative that they say was blowing the whistle. Yeah, right. Okay, when you have John Brennan singing the praises of somebody who is supposed to, let's say, go up against the establishment, that's the establishment talking, obviously. But the thing is, that person who was the intelligence operative who complained initially about President Trump's phone conversation, then I love the media is like, well, it's irrelevant now. No, it's very relevant. He started the impeachment process. The relevance here is that this person is linked to Biden by one report. Okay? So, and didn't have firsthand knowledge. Then you have not only a guy linked to Biden without firsthand knowledge, part of the intelligence community complaining about Trump, the same intelligence community that set up and framed Trump with 17 just coincidences of omission of exculpatory information and evidence, fabrication of information, 17 examples on 3 different FISA applications that numerous judges looked at. The initial rebuttal was, the judges looked at it. Yeah, the judges looked at information that was false. They were deceived. That's against the law. The FBI agents, one of the FBI agents in charge, Kleinsmith, it was already by one report, or by Horowitz's own statements, referred for criminal prosecution to William Barr. So, anyway, that was what Horowitz stated. The person, if it was, whether it was Kleinsmith or somebody else who had falsified the information, they're now under investigation, criminal investigation, along with James Baker, along with Andrew McCabe, along with, there's another, whatever, the whole thing's a big mess. Horowitz basically said that he's passed the baton to William Barr and John Durham, who, by the way, stated categorically that their investigation uncovered evidence that disputes, that completely obliterates the notion there was no institutional bias, because of course there was, when everyone in the institution is texting their lovers, oh my God, Trump is winning. Oh my God, we'll stop Trump. All of these negative anti-Trump text messages from people who just happen to be investigating Trump. Okay. Meanwhile, Clinton is running again, and the reason she didn't win was because of bias, subliminal, osmosis bias, all of these, every single type of bias you could ever imagine. But if it's Peter Strzok saying, we will stop Trump, that's like, it's not biased at all. Why? He can separate his beliefs. Bias only exists if it hurts Democrats, not if it hurts Trump. Then there's a clear delineation between a person's political views and if you're a plumber, if you are a contractor, if you're a dentist, hopefully, if you're doing something that has nothing to do with investigating somebody, then your political beliefs are not relevant. But if you happen to be investigating a person, then if you say we will stop Trump, then you're going to work to stop Trump, which is what they did. They falsified information, but we all know this. What does this have to do with the coordination? Because it's a constant barrage against Trump. They know the context of this. This is not impeachable. Democrats did not even put the Mueller probe within the impeachment. Why? They didn't put bribery. That's another hilarious thing. They spent 3 years. They're not even impeaching Trump on anything to do with the Mueller investigation, which was a special counsel that tried to ruin the lives of a whole lot of people. They found nothing, especially with the IG report that came out. They can't put the Mueller probe information there. They can't, because they didn't tell the FISA judges that Clinton purchased the dossier. The whole thing is, points right back to their corruption. And they can't put the Mueller information in the articles of impeachment because the FISA applications were completely fabricated and falsified and don't have the exculpatory evidence that would have prevented Carter Page from being investigated in the first place. So you have a situation, ladies and gentlemen, where all of this is a complete absurd, this is a theatrical performance. They needed something they needed to impeach Trump. They didn't have anything. So then, enter intelligence operatives saying, "Oh, this is national security." He had a phone conversation. Believe me, if they could have simply impeached Trump from the Mueller probe, they would have done so. The Mueller probe is complete fabricated nonsense. They found nothing. They set up and framed Trump. We found that out with the IG report. The 17 inaccuracies weren't done by accident. That's how you know he was set up. But there was no criminal act. The criminal act is linked to the neuroses of people who think that the world revolves around their election chances. You're investigating Biden. That means you're trying to interfere in the election. Well, it also could mean that Biden could be corrupt. And that's also a possibility, which McConnell believes. Or at least his son, which McConnell believes. That's why Mitch McConnell and... That's funny, I said which McConnell believes, and then it sounds like Mitch McConnell. Anyway, Mitch McConnell does not have to abide by the sensibilities of CNN or the press or the media or the Democratic Party. He's going to coordinate with White House attorneys and lawyers and Trump's legal team. Absolutely. Why? There isn't a criminal act that Trump has committed. They have yet to prove that Trump actually withheld money from the Ukraine because they don't have any evidence. They have opinions. They have viewpoints of people without direct knowledge. When I think it was Matt Gaetz, I forgot, or Doug Collins, I forgot who, but they had a row of scholars, and they asked the scholars, do you have any evidence that Trump committed a crime? No, there was no evidence. So, they had no evidence. No hands were raised. So then you have the issue of President Trump being accused of something without any evidence that he committed the act that he's accused of committing. That's another issue. There's no evidence. There's absolutely no evidence. The impeachment hearings in the House were a catastrophe for Democrats because independents are moving away from them. The impeachment hearings in the House basically confirmed that Democrats have no evidence. They only have the viewpoints and opinions of disgruntled diplomats. That's it. These diplomats said, well, I believe, I think, and then Dr. Fiona Hill said, well, it's been confirmed that Russia interfered in the election. No, it hasn't. The intelligence community, the ODNI and DHS reports, 3 agencies, that's it, run by people who don't like Trump. They have warranty disclaimers. High confidence assessments and judgments could be wrong. That's what literally what the intelligence reports state. The intelligence agencies are uncertain. They are not certain. They are confident. So when you have people like Dr. Fiona Hill stating, well, the intelligence community has confirmed, no, they've confirmed their own confidence assessment. That's like saying, I have confirmed without a shadow of a doubt, I believe that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. And that's a fact. Why? Because I've confirmed it. No, that's my viewpoint. That's my opinion. You cannot confirm something that is not a fact. I mean, you can't confirm someone's confidence in something, but not certainty in something. You're confirming the fact that they're not certain, but very confident. So what? So you have all of this nonsense, and you better believe Mitch McConnell is going to defend the president, because now It's hitting too close to home. The Republican Party, the duplicity, the disingenuous nature of people like Paul Ryan and a bunch of establishment Republicans. What took place was they said, wow, this Mueller probe really hurt us. It was based on nonsense, but we know now Trump is a fighter, and Trump is going up against very corrupt intelligence chiefs, and 90% of the Republican Party loves Trump. And he's going up against Max Boot and Bill Kristol's foreign policy, so the whole planet should vote for Trump. So we're going to coordinate and make sure that Democrats have a zero chance of removing a president because of a fantasy that they've created. Another fantasy, like Trump working with intelligence officials to buy Facebook ads. How much of an imbecile does a person have to be to believe that Trump worked with Russia to buy Facebook ads? Or hack the DNC to inform the country that Bernie was cheated? By the way, speaking of that, I have a very, very amusing segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Check that out right now. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Clinton is going to run. I am the only person on planet Earth who has been saying this since 2017 because I wrote in the Huffington Post, 2017, Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of Trump. This will be the second election I accurately predict. The first election, in 2015, I predicted 2016. NPR, that article is below, quoting me, saying in 2015, Clinton can't win because she's unelectable and she'll lose swing states. Clinton will lose again in 2020. It's not. Democrats don't care. They don't really care. When they lose, they find a way to still win through the media, so they don't care at all. But this impeachment is simply there to pave the way for Clinton. I've been saying this forever. Give me your thoughts below. If you want to support my voice, my Patreon link is below in the pinned comment. Thank you so very, very much. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now.